Hey, you're at Steve Morse Engines. I'm Steve Morse. I'm going to show you some stuff about the SMX and want to explain a little bit more, I guess. So what we're doing here, clearly it's on the dyno. I just showed you when we started it up, and it's been a cluster cuss. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But anyways, not with the motor, but with everything else I got here, including this stupid little thing right here, where I had to put that on there trying to get the water and grease to quit blowing out of the dyno because it's blown the seal that's back in here, which allows water to go through the bearing, which means I got to replace that pretty quick because obviously water's going through bearing that's blowing grease out of it doesn't operate real well at higher RPMs. So I've got to fix that after I already fixed the dyno once before. Fix that shaft that's right here, so you can see that that's a new shaft that I had made for it, and so at least that's working well. But anyways, I want to show the fuel system so you guys really understand this even better. This is we will run this on gasoline, 93 octane gasoline from the gas station. We run this engine. Okay, so how this works is we have 3 sets of injectors in it. All right, so I have all 3 of them work on methanol. I flick a switch in the car, one toggle switch, it changes the tune to the pump gas tune, street tune. That turns on the electric fuel pump, and then it just uses the bottom set of 220s. Runs, drives, does everything on pump gas, long distance, because we drive this thing usually 200 miles a day in 100-degree heat half the time, and having to keep everything cool. You can also, I then take, there's a little spud, this is the mechanical pump for the methanol. So it runs methanol, runs all 3 injectors with that fuel pump, and then doesn't use the electric fuel pump, obviously, with the rear fuel cell in the car. So turn on the toggle switch, which turns on the fuel pump, changes the tune, take the little drive spud out of here, done. That's it. That's all it takes to convert this motor from methanol to gasoline. So showing you some of the water stuff here, which is the most important deal of this. So obviously I'm not super concerned with, I want to make sure that the tune-up's the same as what it is on my other 41X stuff that I have out there, and it is. So that's all cool. So what we're going to really focusing on is heat and all the water in this deal. So you can see the way this works, water in, water out. So water comes in the block at the bottom, through the side, fully encases the entire cylinder wall, or the entire outside of the block, although that whole material wall through there, including the sleeve, is almost 3/4 of an inch thick. So fully encases the whole side of the block, the whole width, whole depth of it, not just some little channel. Whole width, goes all the way through the back, crosses over, and then comes around through the front, and that whole lifter galley area all up in the front, all right down there in the lifter galley. And then water comes out here. It's a little hard to see because there's a lot of stuff in here. So it comes out there. So this is a better one. This is water out. Let me see. Water out right here on the block. Let me get on the other side here. And water in is right there. That's water in. So water goes along the block, crosses over, comes along the inside, all the way across. Okay? Cylinder head wise, on cylinder heads, water goes in here. Let's see if you can see it. Right here on the bottom side of the head. So it runs through right there, this whole channel, and then through this whole channel, it goes in between the combustion chambers to cool that ridge in between, and then it also goes from here up around the spark plug area. The header covers most of this here, but comes up around the spark plug area internally, goes up into the valve spring area. So underneath the valve covers, you take these covers off, and you see the our Manton rocker arm system that we have for these motors, and you'll see that has all the water jacketing in that whole spring pocket area, all the way around the springs on top of the combustion chamber. and then it goes back down in there, because this is empty lifter valley. So it comes up, over, down, and then fills up the complete channel, the whole length of the head, about that high, about 3 inches high, so it gets that whole inside, it gets the whole outside, and gets on top of the cylinder head all the way across. So it goes forward, or I'm sorry, it goes backwards, up and over, down, and then back out this exit right here. So water in, water out. So it does have 4 sets of lines, water in, 4 individual lines, 1 for each head, 1 for each side of the block, and out, 1 each side of the block, 1 each cylinder head. Then you also see here, we can't fit the oil drain backs in the cylinder head on Tom's car on the front, so they're just in the back. So, and these fittings aren't black, which bugs me, but you can see that these are cylinder head drain backs for oil. They go back down right into the block, which I have all machined into the wall there, the Y portion of the wall. And it's the same on the other side. So oil is going back through the cylinder head and going down. And then like on Matt Frost's car or some of the other cars that aren't quite so packed up tight in the front here, it's real easy to run the second down tube going down to right there if it was hooked up. This one we're not going to worry about it too much. But anyways, we're going to go out. I'm going to make a easy pull on this thing, and I'll give you an explanation of what all is going on there. And I'll show you the numbers, and then we're going to get this thing in the car like today. Alright, so now let's take a look at the numbers, and just to give you a heads up, I have had absolutely nothing but trouble with my dyno on this deal. And I had broken it earlier, got the whole shaft fixed. I showed you that on that 635 cubic inch motor and that 63 vet. And so I fixed that part of it. Now I blew a seal out in the back of the dyno, and it is spraying water all over the back of the dyno back there, and it's going to take the bearing out. So I'm pretty much done because of that. And I've even had to, let's see, I just bought this computer because I had a complete computer crash and lost all my data, and then managed to have that recovered all in this amount of time of just initially starting this thing up. And I did that initial video, done a computer, done a bearing, did have the shaft all fixed already, and the goddamn boost control is not working properly. And I put new solenoids on it, put everything on it, and not sure exactly what's going on with that. But it is 12:35 in the afternoon, and I need to have that engine and that white car over there, right there, and that white car tonight, running. So, or at least in the morning. So, anyways. Everything looks really good on this thing. It's the exact same tune-up that I have in my 481Xs, and even though this is obviously my SMX, which is fully water jacketed coolness, and I'll show you one of the things that's actually really pretty cool. Here you can see, I mean, it's your typical 481X deal, package, you know, power-wise. Do lots of these things, you know, I mean, it's not that big a deal, horsepower-wise. But you can see this thing is, and I cut it short up here anyways. I mean, obviously these things normally run 9,500 or so, but since my boost controller is not working, which is why you can see it's just flat here, 20, 21, just perfectly flat, because I got dome pressure on the wastegate because the boost controller didn't work. And I've thrown new ones on there and it still isn't working, and I can't take the one out of the car without costing me hours and hours and hours of unwiring it, and just that's a cluster cuss. So I just put manual boost on it. I just want to check the tune, verify that's the same as my other 41Xs, which it is. It's right dead on the money. And you can see here, I mean, just at this horsepower level, it makes lots down here because it's got 20 pounds of boost right here, 21 pounds of boost, and just keeps on carrying it. So, and these things run 9,000 RPM plus out the back door. But you can see that this is making, you know, 2348, 2350, you know, all right in this area. And this is just me pulling back on the throttle at only 20 pounds of boost. So you can figure out what that's going to make when we put 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds of boost at this motor. But, you know, I wanted to just show you the other thing of what the whole deal is about. Not just the horsepower. Horsepower is nothing. We need to prove, you know, we'll prove this thing out on the track. And, but I'll show you here that, let me save all this. Save, continue, save. Alright, is this really cool deal here, which would just go back to the main screen. And you see right down there, that cool little water temperature gauge of the engine. So I just turn the water pump back on. It'll cycle a little bit of water and go up a few degrees, and then you'll see it just kind of go back down. But that is nice. That is what it's all about. And what did this whole deal is stays cool, does exactly what it's supposed to do. So you can put this on race gas, pump gas, it don't matter, and you can drive this across the country. And just like I showed you earlier, you know, how the whole system works and what's all going on there with the fuel system, injection, everything that's there. This thing is just exactly what I wanted it to be. So anyways, I gotta stop talking because I need to get this thing in the car. I'll have the guys post this video up so you guys can see it, and we'll be out testing here in just a couple days. Anyways, I'm Steve Morris, Steve Morris Engines. Have a great day.